Okay, so it's about time I'm making another one of these. Today we're going to be looking at some wolves, we're going to be looking at some Hatties. All of these were sent out to me for free, not for review, purely as gifts because Jim loves me so much. Thank you, Jim. And because no money was exchanged, that means I have to give these a positive review, right? That seems to be how it works these days, so let's get into it. To start off with, we had the HTS Wireless, which back in its day was quite a popular mouse. The shape, the weight, and the size seemed to be very popular, especially with the AIM community. But this mouse unfortunately had a 1 month shelf life until it devolved into a creaking mess that was basically unusable. And then G-Wolves decided to put the price of it up, so that faded off into irrelevancy, and they were pretty quiet for a while, teasing all these mice over and over again on Twitter that they said they were going to release, but then they didn't release anything until that changed with HSK Plus and they actually started doing stuff. So today we have HTS Plus, HTS Plus. This is the classic version and the two are both 4Ks. I don't have an H yet, but it is being sent in the mail, so I'll have that eventually, but largely the same as this one, just without the 4000 hertz. So they changed the shape very slightly. They made it a bit bigger. I don't really know why. I don't know who asked for that. I guess it could make it a bit more variable for palm contact grips without sacrificing too much for the fingertip users. My hands are massive and fat, so they feel largely the same to me. If you need the itsy bitsy baby hand perspective, ask Recluse. Yeah, diggy bro, he gonna let you know. So the biggest problem with the previous G-Wolves mice, as I mentioned, was the build quality jumping off a cliff after about a week. With these new ones, they are ridiculously solid. This is on Vaxi, this is on Logitech levels of solid. You can barely see where the seam is on the rear part of the shell. I think that's quite impressive. They've changed factories, so that's probably going to play a large part into it. But the design of the mouse, I think, is quite sleek. You've got all the holes on the bottom. There is absolutely no flex whatsoever. The PCB actually reinforces the sidewalls, so you would need to snap the PCB to have any sort of flex, which I think is a pretty interesting idea. While looking at the bottom brings you to another interesting topic that I think. The base is completely flat, so you can use any skates you want. So you can see here, I've gone a bit wild. I've got the Lamzo Atlantis glass skates on here, trash. I've got some core pads for the Ultralight 2, and I went a bit mental with this one. We've got the GPX bottom, 2 Aerox on the top, and a Lamzo PTFE sensor ring, which is... Let's just not, this example, let's just pretend that this is an ace. I think one of the really good things about G-Wolves that people don't talk about is, regardless of your budget, they have an option for you. If you only have a small budget, your 3370 model, $109. If you want to go balls to the wall, all out, 4K model, $159. And if you think that 4K is a meme, or you're stupid, or your PC can't handle it, you have the Ace Edition, $129, which has all the benefits of this, just without the higher polling. I think that's a fair price, especially they're a small company, and all of these can be had with $10 off with a code. I have a code supply, use that if you want to. So just a bit more detailed in terms of the spec. Classic is 3370, it has the Compex MCU that everyone else seems to be using at the moment, and it has Omron 60mm, which I think this is one of the very few mice that are actually using that so far, and TTC Gold encoder. The Ace and the 4K both use the top-end Nordic chip. 4K at the moment has 3399 and the Ace has 3395. I think they intend to also put that into the 4K going forward. They both use zippy 60mm. You can thank Recluse for that because that's all he's doing. He did suggest the 20mm, but they ended up going with the 60mm, and they also still have the gold encoder. And then in terms of weight, we've got the Ace at the lightest, 46 grams, the Classic 48 grams, and then the 4K at 49 grams. They all have different battery sizes in them, which result in different weights. There's some really good mice on the market right now. The top 5 is probably more stacked than it's ever been with G-Wolves and Razer mice. But if you tally all the factors together, the shape, the weight, and the specs, this is arguably the best mouse in the world right now. That's probably going to change. There are more options coming from Razer and G-Wolves. G-Wolves are making a bit more grip specific shapes, which could be more optimized for people. But if you've been on Twitter or Discord recently, you may see a lot of people talking shit about these mice or talking shit about G-Wolves, saying that their build quality is terrible, they can't take feedback, and there's no returns. But none of these people own this mouse or this mouse or this mouse. None of them intend to own it. They've all just watched a jaded reviewer who doesn't know how to set up his PC for 4K, doesn't understand how it works, spreads misinformation, and worst of all, he didn't get the mice for free. And I know, it's absolutely shocking that he didn't get it for free in this current climate. What do you expect him to do? Give it a fair review? Absolutely not. There is no way. He doesn't have the knowledge, capacity, or skills to do so. And you know, Jim, maybe you shouldn't have insulted him, but Jim's an OG, man. Jim don't give a fuck, and I don't give a fuck. So fuck you and fuck him, and especially fuck all these people on Twitter that talk shit for weeks and weeks, and then all of a sudden appear in the G-Wolves Discord and act like none of that happened and start trying to suck up because they think that they can get free mice. Listen, bro, I'm petty as fuck. I remember everything everyone said. Most of it screenshotted. You can't slip by me. Try it. I'm sad, boy. So if you really listen to this jaded reviewer and all of his viewers on Twitter and the massive circle jerk, you'd think that the factory that made these mice could not make a single thing good. There was no way that they would highly value anything that this factory could make at all, whatsoever. So they should just move factory again, because this factory is clearly not working out, and there's no way that anyone would ever value a single mouse that comes out of this factory whatsoever. That kind of wraps up more so a review. I just wanted to talk shit about people. The mice do come with these cool little bottle cap looking head ass receivers for the 4K version, which are pretty cool. I liked it. This is probably one of the nicest pink colorway mice also. Big fan of that. Alongside bottle cap receivers and pink colorways, the mice do actually come with a 1-year warranty. So if you have any faults or problems, they're going to take care of you. They're going to replace it, refund it, wherever is necessary if the mouse is faulty. Not just because your PC doesn't want to work with 4000 Hz or because you don't like the shape. That's what the no returns is about. If it's faulty, contact Jim or G-Wolves. They're going to sort you out. And Jim is massively receptive to feedback, which is great. You can already see it between these two batches of the 4K. Hole here, you could only turn the mouse on with this stick, whereas with the second version they made it bigger, and if you have a bit of a nail on your finger, you can flick that on and off easy, which is great. But the bad thing about G-Wolves is they don't have the best communication outside of the Discord. So if you're just looking at Twitter for the updates, you're not really going to find out anything much. I definitely recommend joining the Discord if you want to ask questions. Jim is usually quite active in there. Me, Villain, Recluse, Gary, we're mods in there, and you know, we can forward questions or find stuff out for you pretty easily as well. So while I think HTS Plus is a great mouse and probably the best right now, I think it's going to be quickly overtaken by 2 upcoming mice. We'll take a look at those now. So for fingertip, HSK Pro, 29 grams, side buttons, wireless, and 4000 Hz. Slightly smaller than M2K, actually has a shape, so I'm very excited to try that. Comes in some cool colorways. That's coming up, $179. Remember, you take $10 off that with a code. Awesome. And if you're a claw grip user, this is up for pre-order now, the Hati X. You can either have it in honeycomb or solid shell. I would go with a honeycomb because I'd like it to be 39 grams, 4000 Hz wireless, which is awesome. Very nice low profile shape, very low at the click. So this should be really good for claw, but I think it would also work well for extended fingertip grip if you're pressing your palm into the mouse pad. Nice stability. I think at this size, that weight is just insane. It's going to feel very, very hollow, but hopefully in a good way. And there is a bit of concern with G-Wolves going back to honeycomb, but it is a different factory, so we'll just have to give it a try once it gets it. I'm sure it'll be fine. I did encourage Jim not to use holes if they couldn't get it as solid as the other mice, and he assured me they will be, so that's fine. Unfortunately, the pink on this one is absolutely horrific, and you got a white one. This is $169, and that's $159 with the $10 off. Both of these are available in the Ace for cheaper and lighter, but I'm just interested in the 4K. So 1 really good mouse that's here, and 2 good mice to come. I'll have these all linked below. Remember, word of the day, code SPLY to get you $10 off of any of these mice. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers. See you later.